Hello, I'm Max Hoppy and I'm going to be telling you how to change your oil. So let's start with the history. Basic oils used to be petroleum products, so think kind of like grease, and this was used in steam engines. And then when internal combustion started to take off and we had the modern automobile, we started using single weight oils. So like in this case, this is 5W30, so it's 5 weight oil. And back then they would have just used 5 weight or 10 weight oil. But since it has that 30, it's 5 weight oil, so kind of thin. And then it goes to 30 after the engine heats up. And it does this because when the engine heats up, the oil gets thinner and starts to run. And so if you make it a thicker oil, while it's hotter and thinner, it's going to stay the consistent thickness inside the engine. So that's why they do that. Why you should change your own oil? Save a lot of money. You know, it's $70 to $90 to get your oil changed. That's included with the oil and the filter and all that. But you know, if you do it yourself, I think this filter cost me a couple bucks, $3, $4 maybe. And then the oil cost me, now I bought expensive oil, full synthetic, because that's what my car needs. So this is about 30 bucks for the oil, but it's special oil. Typically it's like $25. So you're looking at about 30 bucks to change your own oil and about 20 minutes of your time versus, you know, driving there, getting your oil changed, driving back, and then paying them, you know, $70. So that's the advantage. So the things you'll need to change your oil is the proper oil. This is 5W30. That's what goes in my car. You can look up what goes in your car, but it's typically going to be 5W30. You need brand new oil filter, set of wrenches, oil pan to collect all the oil that's coming out of your car, a jack so that you can jack your car up to get underneath it, and a big piece of cardboard is preferred so that you can avoid making a mess everywhere on the ground. So I'm going to tell you how to change your oil, and then I'm going to show you how to change your oil. So first thing you want to do is warm the car up about a minute or two. Get the oil warm but not hot. You don't want it to burn. Then after that's done, you want to jack the car up with the jack stand so you can get underneath it, and then locate the oil drain plug, which is on the bottom of the oil pan. The oil pan is going to be a plastic thing. Any metal thing with the plug in it, don't unscrew that, but it's going to be plastic. Take the plug out, drain the oil into the oil pan, then replace the plug so there should be no oil in your car. Go back up top, make sure that there's no oil on the engine, in the engine bay, and then you want to replace your filter. So some filters are on the top, so while you're up top, go ahead and replace it. If there's no filters up top, just go ahead and go back under, take the filter out, take the new filter, go ahead and grab some of your old oil that's in the oil pan and run it around the ring. It makes a better seal. And then tighten it up. Take the old oil filter, put it in a Ziploc just to save it from, you know, making such a mess. And then fill it back up. Fill the oil in the oil fill spout. It's on the top of your engine. It'll have a little oil can on it. Fill it up the recommended amount. Replace the cap on the oil fill. And you're all good. You can get in, turn it on, make sure everything runs fine. So now that the plug has come out and everything is drained out, I'm going to grab the plug and a towel. I'm going to wipe the plug off. So for my car, probably not your car, because this is kind of a weird thing they do, but they have a special little washer that goes on over the top of the plug, but you don't have to worry about that. So I'm just going to hand tighten it on. Get a better view for you. Till it's hand tight, and then you're going to take your wrench and you're going to tighten it pretty tight. You can look up the specific torque specs for your car. For my car, I kind of know, just tighten it down till you can't, and then you'll be fine. So now we're going to be replacing the filter, which can always be a little difficult. Okay, so you just put your hand up there, you grab the filter, and then you slowly want to back it out. You're going to get messy doing this, that's just the way it is. Not much you can do to prevent that. I'm just going to put it in the pan. I'll grab it later. But there's oil inside the filter, so it's always going to leak a little bit more out. So now that the filter is removed, there's just a little dribble of oil left. Not a big deal. We're going to take the new filter. We're going to take just a little bit of oil, old used oil, and we're going to run it around the ring here. That's going to help create a better seal when we put it on. So now you just take your filter, screw it in until it's about hand tight, which pretty much means till you can't anymore. Then we're gonna so what we have is all of the oil has been drained into the oil pan out of the oil plug. Here's the oil filter. Some cars it'll be on the top. The oil pan will pretty much always have the nozzle out to the side. Sometimes it'll be on the bottom, but not a big deal. It's pretty easy to tell where it is. It's just right underneath the engine. There's nothing else that can look like it. So we've drained all the oil. We've taken the old filter out, put the new filter in, replaced the plug, and so now we're done under here. So here I have my disposal bucket and my pan full of oil, and I'm going to take it slowly, pour it in there till the pan is empty. And this bucket you take to the auto parts store and they'll remove all the bad stuff and recycle the oil. So it's free disposal, and you help the environment. So I have my oil here, and my car takes 4.8 quarts. This is 5 quarts, so I'm pretty much going to empty the whole thing in here. And I'm using a different funnel because I put gas down the other funnel, so I don't want to put gas in my crankcase. So I'm going to fill it up till there's just a little bit left at the bottom. Okay, so now that the oil is filled up to where it needs to be, I'm going to just throw the funnel down here real quick. I'm going to take a little cover there, put it back on, screw it down, and now it should be all good. Double check that there's no leaking. Doesn't look like there's any leaking. Looks like we're all good. Now that all the cleanup is done, I've put all the oil from the pan into the blue jug to be donated so they can recycle it to the auto parts store. Everything is closed up. The car is off the jack. All the bolts are tightened down. I put all the new oil in it. It's ready to go. So what you want to do after everything is away and the car is ready to drive, you want to turn it on, let it roll for a little bit. By roll, I mean let it run for a bit. And then go underneath, check if there's any leaks. If there are, just tighten the bolt or tighten the filter. You'll be fine. If there's not any leaks, congratulations, you've changed your oil.